Good afternoon, everyone. So today we're going to be talking about eating. And I'm excited because I wanted to share with you 5 tips or 5 ways that we train ourselves in the monastery. When the new monks come to train with us, this is a new thing that they get to experience. And this topic is so important. I'm excited to bring it to you simply because eating is so universal. So from the beginning of time, as babies, this is something that we're required to do. Even in this moment as adults, in this present moment, we still need to address this need also. So this goes on, it follows us through our whole life, so then it can also shape our habits. There are many people out there with different kind of background. So I'm not sure what you were taught regarding eating, how you eat currently, but really I just wanted to share with you the wisdom and how we train ourselves. So like all videos is, if this information is helpful for you, please use it and integrate into your life. And if not, and everything on your end is going well, then that's fine too. And I just hope you enjoy. But let's get started. And again, these are 5 tips and 5 ways we train ourselves in the monastery regarding eating. Give blessings. So for those who are familiar with Buddhism or have been following this content for some time, you know that the monastics, the Buddhist monks, for us is we have a symbiotic relationship with the lay community. What that means is that we train ourselves in the spiritual world full time. And that the way that works is that the lay community, they support the Buddhist monks regarding material needs, any resources in the material world. And regarding Buddhist monks, so then with our time, we do our best to train ourselves spiritually. And the way we give back is through teaching of the Dhamma, pulling out the wisdom and sharing with them, and also increasing the faith of the lay people and giving them opportunities to make merits. For those who are still new to this, it might be unfamiliar to you, but it's okay. But all you need to know is that it's a symbiotic relationship where we benefit and we support one another from the Buddhist monks and the lay community. So when it comes to eating, for us is even before we begin our meal, breakfast and lunch, we make sure we give a blessing to the lay people. And this is important because you see us in the morning, we go out, we walk through the village barefoot, we have our bowls in hand, and through the offering, through the generosity of the lay people, they cook the best that they have in their kitchen and they offer to us what they have with faith and humility and just with kindness from the bottom of their hearts. And for us is through this act of generosity, we want to make sure that we share the merits, the good pure energy that we have been collecting during our training, and also to share that with the lay people to help support the person who offered the food, offer the donation. And in this process, the supporter gets an opportunity to develop that pure energy and they get to bring that with them. So how this can translate for those who are watching out there, it's just an act of gratitude. So for us is we are fully supported by, like I said, the lay community, because without their generosity, we do not have a meal where we can eat. And so for the people who are out there watching this, the same thing can apply to you, where then just take a moment, take some time to reflect that as of today, I have food on the table. As of today and as of this present moment, I actually have something to eat and to help sustain me and carry me for another day. So hopefully, if you do not have this kind of practice, you can implement this as well. Consideration of the food. So After we give the blessing for the lay community, for us then is we take a moment, we close our eyes and we do another chanting. And this is a consideration for the food. This chanting is in the Pali language, but what it translates to is as follows. Wisely reflecting, I use this alms food not for fun, not for pleasure, not for fattening, not for beautification, only for the nourishment and maintenance of this body, for keeping it healthy, for helping with the holy life. Thinking thus, I shall destroy old feelings of hunger and not produce new feelings of overeating. Thus there will be freedom from physical discomfort and living at ease. This is so powerful, and I feel like it's a game changer, because a lot of times when the new men come in to ordain as monks, and myself included, we don't understand the relationship between food. From personal experience for me is living in California. I shared this in another video, but I was eating 6 times a day, really because I was on a meal plan and I knew how to control my calories. If I wanted to cut down and lose weight, I know how many calories I needed to eat, and of course eat in every 2 hours, and just to spread it out. Then also when it's bulk season and then I want to gain more muscle or gain more mass, then I would increase the amount of calories. Everything was meal prepped, everything was scheduled and strategic, but really the purpose of that was to gain a specific result, and typically it is for vanity. Many people out there who are eating, again, not for everyone, but many people can relate to this, where we use food to lose weight, we use food to help with our skin, we use food because we want to have a six-pack and we want more muscles. Some people's goals are to eat a specific way because they want to be a size 2, a size 1, and then they can fit better in clothes or look better. And for me, in the monastery, coming back to this consideration is so powerful, is because what is the point of food in the first place? And maybe along the way, we forgot the sole purpose. And for us as monks in the monastery, we try to do everything with intention, not just for any random reason, but to remind us that food, the sole reason, is for us to sustain ourselves. Sustain us for one more day where we have enough to eat. And what is that goal? And that goal for us is so that we can develop ourselves in the holy life one more day. And then the next day, we repeat that pattern again. But all this energy for us is going towards our meditation, to develop this wisdom, to be better people. And with this wisdom, then we change ourselves and we help to change others around us as well. Another trap that we can fall into is then some people use food because of the taste. And everything that we eat is just regarding how does it taste on my palate. I like this thing, so I will eat this. I enjoy this, so I will eat this. So we're just going after the taste buds and also the sensory pleasure. So this training, again, is a mind training where we come back to its intended purpose. In the beginning, like I said, it's so difficult just because coming from the Western world to living in the monastery now, this is a new format. This is a new structure with so much freedom that we had before. This is just uncomfortable. And I remember when it was time to eat, keep in mind that by the time we ate breakfast, it was like 20 hours later was the last time we ate, because we only eat breakfast and lunch. So by the time it's time for us to eat again, we're just starving. And the normal way for us is to just go in and attack. But even before that, they always have us to slow down, give the blessing first, then reflect on the food or consider the food, understand why you're eating, and train yourself differently. And this was such a big benefit because now with each day, It teaches us why we do the things that we do. And when we can understand the relationship with food, it can change your practice moving forward. Developing the skill of observation. In the monastery for us, the biggest adjustment really was how we ate and the system that they taught us to eat. What you have here is the bowl that we eat in. This is the size of it. This is also what we use for the alms round in the morning, and this is our bowl and our plates and our kitchen for breakfast and lunch. And under it is a stand that we use to place here so it's not too low. But inside here, it can be very deep. But how that works is that when we go up to get our food after alms round, the teaching monks encourage us to just go up and get food one time. So in this one time, you have the opportunity to get what you want and put it inside your bowl. This part for me was very challenging because by having just one bowl, what that meant is that your food had to mix. That meant that the salad that you ate with the dressing was next to the cake, was next to the bread, and next to the rice with the vegetables, and everything kind of mixed together. Because again, keep in mind, they're trying to teach us how to not be attached to the taste. You eat for its intended purpose. For me, the first few days was so difficult just because I know this is embarrassing to say, but I'm just very high maintenance. Coming from California, I was a bit spoiled. And I'm like, that's not gonna fly. And I don't even want to eat it. The soup is next to or mixed in, not just next to, but mixed in with the dessert. And it just grossed me out a little bit. Actually a lot. but every single day I was like, I don't want to do that. And I was asking my mentor, I'm like, do you please have like a separate bowl? Do you please have something else that I can use? Also keep in mind, in this bowl for us, then the food wasn't quite as hot as I'm used to. So again, I know it sounds very strange. It's very high maintenance. I can see that now. But at that time, everything was, first, it was very uncomfortable and it took some adjustment to get used to. But this training just kept going, and slowly we started to adapt. Slowly we started to lose the attachment to the flavor and the taste. And even more important for this section is we develop the skill of observation, because this bowl that I just showed you, it's very deceptive. By the time we're ready to eat, we are hungry. We've been working, we've been doing the alms round, we've been using a lot of energy, and we've been fasting for a long time. So of course, with all of us, when we see food on the table, and especially Thai food on the table, our eyes are just wide open and we're ready to attack. So with that, then the desire and the craving, that animal instinct inside of us just kicks in. And every single person, we take our bowl and we fill it as much as we can. And like I said, deceptively, we can't see that it's just very deep. And with that, then they train us to eat everything. Eat everything means that the food is given by the lay community. They use their hard-earned money. They took that time to offer to us, so then we have to eat it all and not be wasteful. So when we're eating in the first few days, we would just be stuffed. And we keep eating and we're rushing to finish. And then afterwards, when we're done and we go to our next meditation session, we're just dead. We're like food coma. collapsed, knocked out. We can't even pay attention to the teaching anymore. But really, what they were trying to do was to teach us consideration. And this is the skill that can be shared with you intellectually or with theory, but when you get a chance to practice day after day, it actually teaches you how to consider, how to estimate. And now, with each meal, the monks become more mindful. So then they have to consider, well, what is my schedule for the day? What does it consist of? How many teachings are there? How many chores are we doing? How physically straining is it? And how much energy do I need? So then with that, you can estimate of, am I eating too much or am I eating too little? And this is such a big decision for monks because, again, we eat breakfast and lunch and we're going a very long stretch without eating again. If you do not consider it properly or guess properly and you don't eat enough, then you're going to be hungry for the remainder of the day. On the other hand, if you eat too much, then this is the problem that I stated earlier. Your eyes will glaze backwards, you'll lose consciousness, and also that brings us to another set of problems. So each day now, with this simple training, it doesn't look like much, it's just eating in a bowl. Everyone eats in a bowl or a plate in your own terms or in your own home, but really is when you can pay attention and use it as a training, then it trickles to other areas of your life. With this skill, with this tool that you cultivated of contemplation or of considering, now you can apply it to other areas of your life, and then it can help to support your functioning. Eating 2 meals a day. So this is actually part of our precept. The goal for the monastery is that we are trying to train ourselves in our meditation in order to cultivate that wisdom. And what we find is that when we're engaged in having dinner, one is just imagine the amount of time that it takes for you to plan out the meal, to go shopping for it, to cook that meal. So again, with that time save, it can be an hour, it can be 2 hours. For us, it's very critical. So then with that time save, like I said, we then apply it to our practice and we get to sit more and we get to meditate more. The second part to add to that is then also for Buddhist monks, we don't use that much energy. And because in the evening time, we want our stomach to be light, so that way it does not interfere with our meditation. Also, it helps with sleep because during the evening time, our body actually does not need that much energy. So many times people will eat a big meal at 8 p.m., 9 p.m., and then they go to bed at 10 p.m. And already when your body is supposed to be shutting down, it's actually taking time instead to burn off the food. So many people are having issues regarding sleep. They have a lot of energy at night. This may be one reason that contributes to it. Another reason can be why a lot of Buddhists, when they're training of the minds, they don't eat dinner, is because when you eat dinner, you will have a lot of energy in the evening. And when people have energy in the evening, they will want to go out. They will want to do things. And what we find is that when people do things at nighttime, it's usually not so positive. So it's either nightlife or it's entertainment. So this is one way that it helps to eliminate that as well. So for those who are wanting to train themselves with meditation or change the structure of your mind, test this part out, where if you cannot go on 2 meals a day, that's okay, because for householders or lay people out there, you are engaged in many activities and you need the energy. But maybe what you can do is that sometimes then limit your dinner. And having this limited dinner can then affect other areas of your life. So give it a try, test it out, and see how that fits for you. Eating mindfully and with manners. So for this one, I wanted to combine the mindful eating also with the manners itself, because they're interrelated. But when the new monks are eating and when we're training them, the first thing or the first difference that they notice is that we're eating in silence. A lot of people in the lay life were used to eating at any time, wherever we want to, however we want to. We eat with our mouth open, or even if we do have that manners, we're engaged in conversation. But in the monastery, for us, it's to train one's mind. And with that, when we're eating, it's not time for you to talk with your friends. It's not time for you to share the latest gossip, but it really is keep your eyes on your own bowl. Pay attention to yourself. Pay attention to your own practice. Learn, study, and develop yourself. And also when we're eating, we're sitting on the floor and the bowl is down here next to our legs. So then it's a new adjustment, and the first few days we let the monks eat on their own just to kind of see where they're at, and many of them would have their heads like inside of the bowl, crouch over, hunch down, and scooping the food, making a lot of noise. The noodles would be dripping all over the place. They would be a mess. They would be rushing, talking to their friends. But again, after the first few days, we began to correct them. Because we're supported by the lay community, it's important for us to train ourselves well. When people are coming to you for wisdom and Dhamma, and they see how you dress, they see how you talk, they see how you eat, and if you're not proper, and this is a key word, and if you're not a practitioner yourself, then it loses faith in them. And take this for your own life, where what tools are you teaching other people? What tools are you teaching your own children? And then do you apply these tools for yourself? So when we don these saffron robes, it comes with a big responsibility to train oneself. If you want to teach peace, newsflash, you should probably have peace. If you want to teach meditation, you should know how to meditate. And all these things just continue on and on. But the suggestion is to be a practitioner yourself. We learn that when we're eating, sit up straight. Don't make noise. Don't slurp on the soup. When you're eating noodles, don't bring your head down to the bowl, but really take the time. Be mindful. Scoop it mindfully. We are taught then to pay attention to everything. And even that process of eating, have you ever studied it? From scooping of the food, lifting it up in a spoon without dropping it, putting it in your mouth, chewing it. And then that way when you swallow it, you can digest it. Because how many people out there, I'm guilty of this myself in the past, but where you attack a meal because it's so delicious, and after you're done, you're like, what did I just eat? And 7 minutes pass by and you lost all consciousness. But for us, it's really take the time. Eat mindfully and let your body digest. Even what they teach us is 5 more bites before you're full. That's your body's way. Or that's actually when you should stop eating. Because many times for us, we would eat too much. We would eat too long and it doesn't register with how much food we actually need. So again, this is part of the training to know yourself better. There are so many aspects of the habit part, and I'll do a deeper dive into it. But for today, I just want to give you a basic overview. One more thing that we train ourselves is with respect. And many times when we're about to eat, what happens? And what happens is when it's time to get our food, many people would just beeline. They will rush to the front of the line, but in the monastery, that's a no-no. And why that's a no-no, it's because we have a hierarchy system. We have our senior monks, we have our teaching monks, we have our mentors, and maybe you are a special person out there, but when you come to the monastery, there is an order. And the order is, no matter how hungry you are, you make sure you allow the teaching monks to go first. And you just wait. And this is always the mistake where our new monks will cut in front of the line. And we have to tell them, you're a baby monk. You've only been ordained for 2.5 days, so you're gonna need to relax, go to the back of the line, and it's teaching us respect as well. Even then, when we get our food, we come back to sit on the floor again. People will start to eat their food. No, that's not how that works. Don't forget, the first part is we need to wait for everyone. We then need to give blessing for the lay community because they offered the food. Secondly, we need to consider the food. Why are we eating it? And then thirdly, before we can begin, then we need to wait for the teaching monks to eat first. And like I said, we are starving at this time and we're just waiting to eat, but it's always out of respect. Wait for the most senior monks to grab the first bite or take the first bite, and then you can begin. And this is mindful eating because as you're eating, you have to pay attention to so many things. We come to lunch and breakfast on time. We finish on time. Then what that teaches you is one, discipline, and then the second thing it teaches you is that be aware of your surroundings and know, are you eating too slow or are you eating too fast? Some people finish in 3 minutes and you have 30 more minutes left. So then again, take your time. But everything, like I said, is all another tool for us to study ourselves even deeper. 2 more things that I'll add. I know this is a lot, but I think it can be helpful to someone. I mentioned this in another video before, but one thing that it teaches us eating in the bowl and eating in the monastery specifically is keep your eyes on your own bowl. For me, what that teaches me, and it applies to other areas of life, if it doesn't matter what the person next to you is eating. Maybe if we're eating fruit and exotic fruit and it's amazing here in Thailand, it doesn't matter. If your neighbor has 3, don't worry about it. If they have 4, don't worry about it. If the person on the left has 2 slices of cake and you're hungry, don't worry about it. Did they eat too fast? Did they eat too slow? Are they eating too much? Are they greedy? It does not matter. Keep your eyes on your own bowl, and what that symbolizes is keep paying attention to your own training. And we come here with many bad habits that we need to fix, so do not get distracted and use every second that you have to keep training yourself. One more aspect that I can throw in there is just with making sure we finish everything in our bowl. And one of the tools that they use for training is that when you finish eating, you have to wipe your bowl completely. And they give you just a couple sheets of napkins. And for me, I'm like, can I get like another carton, because this is not enough. But really is with that just 2-3 squares of a tissue paper, then you have to make sure you wipe everything, not eat it and then just whatever excess, throw it away. But again, it's teaching us finish, be mindful. And then after you're done, clean everything. There should be nothing left. Everything in the outside world, everything that we do impacts our meditation. And the more you're clean outside, the more it translates to being clean inside. And the more you're clean inside, it also translates to being clean outside. So hopefully this helps. Meditation. So now here is a bonus tip. And meditation, like I said, is so critical for the monastic training. And many of you out there who are watching this videos, you now are trying these routines such as meditation. You're being more mindful. You're keeping a morning routine. You have the evening routine. You're doing your 10 daily reflections, and you're putting in the effort to develop yourself. So with that is use breakfast, lunch, or dinner in your case as another tool. Don't just have meditation in a meditation session, but carry your progress, carry this feeling, the hard work that you've been cultivating, this inner peace, this serenity. Don't lose it. Now bring it to the next activity. And when you're eating and already, be so mindful where the continuity of this peace carries through seamlessly. So in the meditation is a meditation. Outside when you're walking to breakfast and lunch is a meditation. When we're going on alms round is a meditation. When we're eating, it's a meditation. The way we eat, how we behave, and again, it continues that continuity. Keep it going, and do not, if possible, do not try to have a gap. And for those who are serious with your practice, this is a bonus tip that can be helpful for you. So there you have it. Those are the 5 tips and also a bonus tip for you regarding eating. So why am I sharing this, and why is it important? And really it's important because eating is a basic human universal need, all the way from birth all the way to this present moment as an adult. This feeling of hunger will always be there. You need to satisfy it. Everyone from all background needs to satisfy it. And then when we satisfy it, we need to eat again in a few hours. So this hunger or this suffering will continue and follow you for the rest of your life. This is important because when we train ourselves, when we understand the purpose of eating, when we have a healthy relationship to eating, then it can affect our whole world in a healthy way. What comes to mind for me and why this topic rings so personal is just because my background, like I said, working as a licensed marriage and family therapist. One of the contexts that I had the luxury of working in was the group home with the foster kids aged 12 to 18. And because it was a state-owned facility, we would get funding by the state, and what that means is that the meals that they have, it's fully funded and supported. So then every single day, the kids get their meals, they eat, not even mindfully. Some things they would open it, taste it, and then throw it away. And for some of our clients then, they won't even clean their plates. When they're with their friends, then they're just talking. They're not even realizing of how grateful am I to have a meal on the table. So again, this training, if you don't pay attention to it, it can just go over your head and you miss the opportunities. Also, with all the people that I worked with in the therapy world, also the people that I get a chance to see within the retreats, I see many issues regarding mental health, specifically with eating disorders. Some people then get into a negative or unhealthy relationship where they will starve themselves. They will cut calories. And then just because they want to look a certain way, they feel that they're not pretty enough. Then they use food for the wrong reasons. When I'm sad and I'm grieving, let me just eat because this is comfort food. When I'm lonely, let me eat. When I want to gain muscle and look buff, let me eat. And again, this relationship, when it's not fully understood, can lead or take us down the path of many issues down the line. And I've seen so many young people, and even adults also, that does not have this healthy relationship. But again, go back to the basics. Use food for its intended purpose, and especially for parents with young children, teach them this. I know we teach them the 5 basic food groups. That's important also. But when we teach them this foundation of what is food used for, how do we have a healthy relationship, this will translate to other areas of their life. Also, this is key because since this is a basic human need, it can be attached with greed. It can be attached with this craving, and if it's not checked, then for us, we can fall into this unconscious way of being, which is, I just get my needs met. If I want this, I get this. If I want that, I get that. And we just go instant gratification and instant gratification. So hopefully we can all come back to the basics and use it to sustain your body so you can continue to take care of yourself. You can continue with this to develop yourself, to take care of your family, to pursue your hobbies and your goals, and to sustain your life. But don't make it where food is such a big centerpiece, and it can take up so much time. But again, this is just the lens from the monastery. Then a follow-up question that I get asked is, how come monks are so peaceful? And well, one way is, well, many answers, such as the mindfulness training, our precepts, the meditation, and so on. But eating is also a big part of it. And like I said in the beginning, my relationship with food is so different now. And in this moment, I just eat just to sustain me. And it's not even a big deal. If there is a certain type of food, great, I'll eat it. And I'll pay attention and be mindful. If there is not a certain type of food that I enjoy, it's okay too. Again, what is it for? But keep training yourself mindfully. So there you have it. That's a lot, but I know the people who are watching, there are many different lifestyles out there. There are foodies, there are people who live for food, and again, not to judge your life, but simply I just wanted to present a new perspective, a different perspective, and for those who are interested in training themselves, then you can use some of these techniques in your life. This is the training we do in the monastery. And again, if you're a householder and you live that lifestyle, not good or not bad, but we can again learn from one another. And this is just one more tool to put into your arsenal. So I hope this is helpful. So with that said, I hope you enjoyed this, and blessings and greetings to you all the way from Thailand. And I hope you all are safe. Satu.